Hello, my love. Welcome. Today we are continuing our theme of the month, which is emotions and feelings. And I will be talking to you more about our inner wound and how that wound is connected to our very strong emotions. So we want to learn how to heal the wound and also understand what's behind it. Why is it there to begin with? Before I continue, I would like to invite you to support this channel by liking and subscribing. This really helps us to grow a very strong, nourishing community, and I'd love us to grow together, to heal together, and to also create together. So I would love to see you coming back on this journey with me. I have already put together a playlist where you can find a lot of useful information, and I will link it up here. And some of the videos that I recorded in the past are actually the prerequisites for this particular exercise that I will be giving today. So in the last video, I did say already that your strong negative emotion is actually a sign that there is an inner child, a wounded inner child, or an original wound that is calling for your attention and it's been hurting. So naturally we have a question like, okay, so what is that? How can I help it? Any kind of strong negative emotion that you experience is actually a result of a desire or a basic need that is not being fulfilled. Imagine you feel tired after a long day of work, and what your need is and what your desire is to actually rest. What your mind is telling you is that you need to cook dinner because you have some responsibilities, right? So you go ahead and you cook dinner, and meanwhile your child is coming to the kitchen and is doing something minor, and that really takes you out of your center, and you lash out and you scream at your child. So now you see how this original inner desire that hasn't been fulfilled is then coming out as this negative reaction. And the wound is created as when you have something that you want for a long time and you continuously don't get. So if you have a desire that is continuously being unfulfilled, and an important component, you are actually made think wrong for it. So oftentimes we actually experience that in our early childhood, of course, right? Because we're at a conflict where we have an inner desire and we express it. For example, you have a child who's desiring to be recognized, so they ask for attention. Now the child's parents or caregivers basically react as, for example, something like, you want too much attention, it's too selfish, you're a very selfish person. So for the sake of being accepted, the child is actually taking the belief of the parents and making themselves feel wrong for what they feel, because they're not supposed to be this way. They think they're not supposed to have this desire. And so you can imagine that later on, when this person is already employed and is at work, and they may actually experience feelings of anger or jealousy or criticism of other people. For example, when their colleagues are being promoted, they may feel very jealous. What the truth is that the inner desire has never been fulfilled, and they think that, oh, it's too selfish for me to be seen, and so they will be attracting these situations in their life where they are not seen, because that's their subconscious belief. And for that reason, we actually want to discover what's underneath the emotion. So jealousy by itself is not wrong. What is under that jealousy is what we need to discover and to heal. Now you see how this emotion, even if you may be judging your emotion as destructive and negative and you want to control it, in the core of it, your innocence that's calling for help, your unconditional love, your acceptance, and your ability to hear and see what's going on without negative judgment is crucial in order for you to actually heal and process that original wound. I want to mention that my recommendation is that you do this exercise when you actually feel strong emotionally and overall healthy, and you have a good amount of energy to give to this exercise. If you feel you are maybe not stable right now emotionally and you are in a very low state, I would say do not do this exercise right now. Do it when you are in a better place emotionally and mentally. And for now, you can actually have your therapist or maybe a somatic experience practitioner who can help you with processing your emotions. In this exercise, you will need tools such as hard breath meditation and self-parenting. And those are the videos that I've already recorded and posted, so you can see them here. Now, let's begin. What do you need? Allow yourself at least 30 minutes to do this exercise. Find yourself in a very comfortable place where you feel you're not going to be distracted and disturbed. Do it at the end of the day, do it on a weekend. You want to allow yourself all the time and space that you need to process this ancient wound. Choose the emotion that you are deciding to work with. I recommend that you find something that's super strong and is present in your life right now, because whatever you present to in your life is actually what your, let's say, higher self, your soul is ready to work through. So choose the emotion. Also have a notepad or a voice recorder by your side so that you can do this exercise. Part 1 is analysis. Journal and see if you can identify what are the circumstances or relationships that trigger this emotion. Maybe you oftentimes feel it with your mother. Maybe you feel it with your coworkers. Really find all of the details that you can experience this emotion and what would be the circumstances that really trigger you to experience it. This will give you the ability to be more self-aware in the moments when you know you're prone to experience these emotions. Think of the first time you felt this. This is not necessary, but it could be helpful. That will give you more information as to what would be the possible inner desires that weren't fulfilled at that time. Now we're moving into the part 2, and part 2 is about experiencing. This is when we want to connect really strongly and deeply with the emotion that you are experiencing. Invite it back. If you do not feel it in your body right now and it's more like a memory right now, think of the circumstances. Do the hard breath meditation. Hard breath meditation is perfect for you to become less numb to your emotional state and to really experience all of the internal movements that are happening inside of your body. Once you got yourself into that state, the first step that you want to do is to identify what is the feeling. Ask yourself, what do I feel? What does it feel like? Is it sadness? Is it grief? Is it anger? Identify the emotion. The second step is to recognize where it is in your body. Is it maybe tightness in your chest, or maybe it's burning stomach, or maybe it's pain in your knee? Really identify all of the little aspects that you're experiencing in your body when you feel that emotion. And step number 3 is to see what sort of thoughts and thought patterns that are coming up when you feel this emotion. Oftentimes these 3 things come together: your feeling, your thought, and your body sensation. They are all linked together. So by knowing one, you can already assume the other. And right now you're identifying what are the 3 and how do they come together. Step number 4 is to allow yourself to fully experience it in your body. Now really let it take over your body. You remember, you're in a safe space. You yourself set the intention to do it right now, so now you can really leave it through your body. Oftentimes, once the emotion is traveling through your body in a safe environment, you are actually will be feeling less of it in the future, because finally you're letting for something that's been blocked and suppressed for such a long time to travel and to experience. Finally, you allowing and accepting that state that you are in. And then following that, step number 5 is to thank the emotion. Remember that emotion is simply a sign of a wound that's been still covered. So that emotion is actually a gift to you. There's nothing wrong about it. That emotion is helping you to discover what is that unfulfilled desire that's underneath. And without this emotion, you would never know it, and you would be not open to experience the state of fulfillment that you are meant to experience by fulfilling that original wound and that desire. Step number 6 is to see whether there is any other emotion or feeling that's rising or merging into after what you felt for the first time. Oftentimes we actually have layered emotions and feelings, and it's important to come to the core emotion when we're doing this exercise. So for example, at first you felt really angry, you felt rage, and when you allowed yourself to feel it and process it through your body, then you discover that there is grief and there's sadness and you just want to cry. So now you feel that, and you may then feel different sensations in your body and also different thoughts. So definitely repeat the loop, go on a loop and repeat everything from 1 to 6 with this new discovered emotion, and then check back again and see if there's anything else that's rising up, and do it for as long as you need to. And when you get to that core emotion where you feel like, okay, there's nothing underneath, then we're coming out of this loop and we're doing step number 7, which is to ask yourself, what need or what desire is not fulfilled here? Allow yourself to really watch what thoughts are coming out. What are the first cries that you experience? Jot it down, record it on your voice recorder. You will re-listen to it later. Once you answer this question for yourself, the next question, question number 8 or step number 8, is to see how can you fulfill that desire. What do you need right now in order to feel that desire? What's the opposite of that pain? This is what we're looking for. This is where the jewel is, to identify what is the desire, whether it's desire to be recognized, whether it is desire to be wealthy, whether it is desire for equality. Once you identify the desire and you also know how that desire can be met, your next step is to shift your attention into that. Shift your attention into getting excited about whatever you discovered for yourself, that you're experiencing it right now in the present moment. Again, for your body, it doesn't matter whether it is in your head and you're imagining it or it is actually happening to you. So this is where you're giving yourself that fulfillment by just thinking about it. Shift your attention to what you're actually meant to experience. And the step number 10 is really you going into the world and you acting on the information that you received. You giving yourself that what you didn't get. I'll give you an example of my own situation. One of the deeply rooted desires is to be seen for who I am, is to be seen for my truth. So what is my now game plan? Well, I cannot really make other people to see me, right? But what I can do is I can see myself and I can validate for myself what other things that I wanted to be seen. And I can also put myself out there. So there is a possibility to be seen, but it's not something that I can control, but I do, take that step so that I can show myself. So in this case, for example, with this YouTube channel, right, I am putting myself out there because that's my deepest desire, is to be seen. So for you, it may be something different, but it will oftentimes be, to begin with, very challenging to kind of give yourself that. Start small, start with just validating and acknowledging yourself just with yourself, and then later you will most likely will have to put yourself out there, because that desire is something that is so strong and so big that will ask you to take actions, and sometimes some really brave actions. But at the same time, it is what is going to bring you ultimate fulfillment and peace and satisfaction with your life. A couple of more things I would like to add before I end this video. So one is that you may recognize that a number of emotions lead to one desire. That's totally fine. And what it basically shows is that your inner innocence, your inner child, is so much calling for help that it's using different tools and techniques, whatever it can, to bring your attention back. So definitely work with the desire that you're now discovering. And another thing that I really hope you understand is that we do this exercise to not get rid of the emotion. We do this exercise so that we can discover the wound and what's underneath, which is the unfulfilled desire. So in this case, the emotion may be coming back again, and the only reason it's coming back is because still there is something that is not being fully acknowledged and claimed back. So I really hope this was helpful. I really hope you actually do this practice and you let yourself experience what it is for you. And I'm very curious to know what you've discovered. So please come back and let me know what are the desires that you're discovering for yourself. If you still have some questions, definitely ask them in the comments, and I would be delighted to answer them to you if I can. And of course, if you also want to take this into a more of a private container and want to work with me one-on-one, I'm available for that as well. And all of the information that you need for that will be down in the description below. I think this is it for now. And I'm very grateful that you watched all the way through the end. And I am preparing other amazing content so that I can share it with you in the very near future. Stay tuned. Much love.